So a lot of in the indie community, they don't want to be told what to do. And I think it stems to a lot of people that don't not to be told what to do. But we're a student of life, right? We're always learning. You have to be learned. Like you said, information. The only difference between going from here to here, this is you, this is your goal. This distance right here it's a timeline, and how fast you can shrink it is up to you. But that's just information that you're missing.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of The Report. Today, I got someone in the studio, and by the way, today is the third day, I believe third or fourth day of official summer. Summer officially starts June 21st, but we're in the middle of summer right now, and it's feeling good outside. I got a special guest. I got someone who's doing big things with his portfolio company, generating $300 million a year across his portfolio. I got my man Amrinder Kamboj. Amrinder, welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks, Rich, for having me, bud.
Yeah, appreciate you coming in, dude. Man, one thing you mentioned before we started recording is you mentioned with everything, you like to go all in. You said all in, no plan B, burn the boats, go all in, and that's how you've really been able to build this. I come from the same background, the same belief as well. Life does not reward those who are like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Life rewards those who go all in, and at every single level, I've pushed the chips all in, and that's the only reason I've gotten to where I'm at today. And so elaborate on that when you say all in.
So there's two different things when you say all in. Okay, there's people that go on all in, right? Then there's people that go extremely all in. Okay, what I'm trying to say is there's all in, like we were talking about, oh, I'm doing a podcast, boom, 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 boom. One after another podcast, we're doing the events. We're hosting our own events. I'm speaking on other events. There's a lot of interviews that I have on TV broadcasting that I'm about to get on. There's a lot of magazines I'm about to get on, right? That's all in. That's all the personal boundary. The reason why I'm doing that is because I can do it at a much longer pace period, which is 2 to 3 years, let's just say. But I'm trying to shrink that a lot faster. How can everybody know me in about 6 months? Like, who the hell is this guy? Imagine that impact. That's the biggest thing I always want to do. Who's this guy? Right? Just comes out of nowhere. Who's this guy? I go to Miami. Everybody knows me in Miami now. Who's out of nowhere? It's only been 6 months. Who's this guy? Throwing events in the Versace Mansion, buys a jet, does this, throws an event, does TED Talks, put 300 people in right after TED Talks. So TED Talks is a funny story. So I got invited to speak on TED Talks. I did that. And then after that, like we were in Miami 2 days before the TED Talks. I told my guys, you know what, we're here. So Hunts was the one that got me on the TED Talks. So my marketing team, they're geniuses. They start advertising that Amrinder speaking at TED Talks. We made a quick little video just to have fun with it and start promoting out of it. Well, check this out. Out of the audience, about 70 to 75% or 80% of the audience came through our leads just to come see me speak. I don't even know them. Okay?
Yeah.
So they come in. So I found that. So my team tells me that. Then I call Hans. Then I said, you know what? Screw it. If all these people are coming here, let's just do a thank you. Let's have an event, post-event, all branded for our company. They get to talk to me, business, and we might find some business deal or next partner or something like that, right? It was a really good turnout. So that's what I'm trying to say, and that's going all in. And then what the other thing is, the thing, like I just mentioned right now, we did the TED Talks, and then a post-event, nobody really does that, right? To connect with more people, right? There's all in, and then you got to think big to get all in too.
The other thing about going all in, man, is like you will grow much quicker. And for me, it's all about the feedback loop. Like, how many people do you see get into a new thing? They might have a business idea and they're like, hey, like, let me dabble in it. But because they don't go all in, they don't see much progress. And the feedback loop is not a positive thing. And when people don't grow, they don't progress, they don't keep going. And so a lot of people give up on whatever it is they're jumping into. So I feel like if you do go all in on anything, and this applies to anything, it's not just media, podcast, and social media content. It's not just that. It's every aspect of life. It could even be dating. When you go all in, you see results. And when you see results, it's positive affirmation. It's the same reason why people go to the gym. You go to the gym first week of the new year, and the gym is crowded. You're like, damn, where the fuck did all these people come from? But you go back first week of February, like all these people are gone. It's because these people start, but they don't. The gym is like, it's a slow game. It's the long game. It's like buying real estate, right? We go buy real estate. It's a long-term play. And you got to have delayed gratification. Same thing with fitness. That's why like 1 out of 25,000 men in America have six-pack abs. Everyone knows how to get six-pack abs, eat less, move more, but no one wants to put in the work, and it's delayed gratification. That's a slow game. It's not like you're going to the gym and rip it for a week, eat good for a week, and you're going to have 6-pack abs. Like, you got to hit it hard for months and months. It might take 12 months of like a lot of pain and a lot of dedication to get that end result. And people don't like that slow growth game. So I love what you said. I'm the same way, man. I pushed the chips all in at every single level. And I've been willing to risk everything that I have personally to level up in this game. And that's what it takes sometimes.
Sometimes going back to what you're saying. So what happens is going to the gym, trying to get a 6-pack, all that stuff. You put that goal, you put that target in your mind, right? But what happens is what a lot of people, they forget is they go from here, they want to get here. Problem is that little fine line right here, you forget about all the ups and downs that you're going to have. Dieting, I love training. Reason why is when somebody's fit, they're able to train, they're able to diet. It's the hardest thing you're going to do. Don't drink alcohol, train, diet, wake up in the morning. Even when you're tired, whatever it is, go train. There's a discipline factor of it. There's a pressure that you got to put in your mindset. You use the same principles in business, it's the same thing. You use the same principles in life, it's the same thing. Does that make sense?
It does.
That's the thing about going all in. So when it comes to business, a lot of business owners, the reason why a lot of business owners, they fail is they're going in, but they're going in on the wrong things. They're going in for what? Money. I want to make money. Every single time I had a thought, I'm going to do this business because of money, it's always failed. So when I had my first business, the GNCs, right? It's a sports nutrition brand. So I went in there trying to get them to make money. Obviously, you want to feed our families, feed yourself, do XYZ, right? But nobody taught me, okay, if you go for the money route, your focus is just going to be sell, 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 sell. But now that I think about it, now through the experiences I've been through, I'm like, okay, the reason why that business didn't work too well for me was if I had a different approach, is okay, I want to help people. There's a mission of value that you want to bring to life, which is like for me at the GNC would have been like, I want to help people get healthier. I want longevity. Somebody comes in and they have heart problems. Somebody comes in who's 300 pounds. You notice they're not healthy, right? I want to change their trajectory. If there's a guy and he works his ass off and he works Monday through Friday, 12-hour shifts, and he has kids and a wife and everything, I want to make sure his testosterone level's here so he can perform, yada, yada, yada. You see what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to make better humans. If I had that approach, imagine what I'll be able to serve them.
All right, so I got a question for you. Do you believe that getting fit is a prerequisite for getting rich?
Yes. The reason for that is, okay, there's two things about fit. There's people out there that say you have to have a 6-pack to be successful. Not really. Okay. What I'm saying fit is, okay, so you and I, we have investors. We're dealing with money. We're looking at acquisitions. We have teams. We're traveling. We're doing this and all that kind of stuff. Your body is a temple where basically it needs, think about it as this. Like you're in the boutique hotel business, right? You buy an older hotel. You have to fix kinks. You have to do this, do that. Same thing with your body and mind too. When you're dealing with that much money, you're dealing with numbers all day. Wrong. What the workout does is it decompresses you, right? To me, when I don't work out, like I feel this pressure, I get depressed. But as soon as I go in there, I train arms, legs, whatever. The blood flow that I get, it just makes me, oh shit, I'm a badass. I got this. Right away, the mind starts flowing, the ideas start flowing, the solutions start coming up.
Yeah. It goes hand in hand with everything because, with business, it's all about growth and progress, right? Every day we're showing up, we're getting 1% better every day. We're identifying what's the constraint. Okay, let's fix this constraint. But same thing at the gym, right? It's like you go to the gym and obviously it's a long game, but it teaches you consistency, showing up, going through some pain in order to have some gain. It shows you what it feels like to get 1% better. You start to see the results in the mirror. You start to feel better. If you feel good, you feel better, your confidence is going to go up. If you're more confident, you're going to make more money in business, sales, everything.
Yeah. So I actually have a story of that. I remember a few years ago, I went with one of my friends to a conference, right? It's like 3-4 years ago. Okay. So this guy's a successful guy, has a multi-million-dollar business, and then I'm next to him. Fit, leaner. This guy's like 300 something pounds, 310, 315 pounds. Okay. And this is what I told him. I was like, dude, you need to lose some weight, right? He goes, I was like, you don't look healthy. He goes, my doctor said my reports are fine. I'm like, dude, I can tell just looking by you, you do not look freaking healthy. I don't give a shit what the doctors say, okay? Then I said, okay, let's just change the view. Okay, now we're about to go to this conference. There's 1,000 people, okay? When the door opens up, you and me, we both walk in. Who do you think is going to look at who first, right? You or me? You might be way more knowledgeable, have more capital, have all that kind of stuff, but the gravitational force is going to come towards me. Why? Is because I have this aura of I'm big, strong, and everybody wants to try to talk to a more confident, bigger, stronger dude. person, right? Versus you over here, you might be that wealthy, knowledgeable guy, then you're slouched like this, your suit barely fits, your stomach's popping out, right? You look good as far as your facial feature, you're a good looking dude, but imagine how you would be if you lost some weight. Dude, now he's lost weight and he was like, I think like close to 220 pounds. You can just tell from his face, the energy, the confidence, everything goes up.
Dude, the other thing for me, man, is this. Like, I'm gonna be 40 this year. This summer I'll be 40. And this game that I'm playing right now is not like a professional athlete. This is not like NBA or NFL where your shelf life is, only so many years. I'm playing a game, real estate investing and business. I'm playing a game that can be played for decades and decades and decades. I mean, look at Grant Cardone. Grant's 67. The dude's just getting warmed up. He's got a lot of gas in the tank, but it all starts with the mindset and taking care of your body. And so knowing, hey, I want to play this game as long as I can. I want to play it for another 40, 50 years. And so knowing that, it's like, dude, I better start taking care of my body right now. And if I'm not, that shelf life is going to be cut in half, right? And so for me, it's all about longevity. And I know, hey, like health is one thing I can control. The things I can control, the variables, like let me make sure that shit's optimized so I can perform my peak. That's another reason why I don't even drink. Like I don't even drink. I'm sober. And I think that's another cheat code in the game is like literally being sober and actually waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So many people out here have all these problems in the world and they're looking for all these solutions, but they're overlooking the fact that it's like, hey, like just eliminate alcohol and start waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And a lot of those problems will go away pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it all goes back to the health. So I want to switch gears, man. So you mentioned your first business was in the fitness space. What was it about your first business? Like you said the first business failed, right? What was the main reason, for the audience listen right now? Like what was a takeaway or two that you took from that first business that's helped you kind of become successful today?
Yeah, the biggest thing is like a lot of business owners, what they're always doing is they're working in the business, not on the business. I mean, shoot, I know a lot of people, they don't own a business and they're the ones buying all the products, going to Costco's, filling that. Even my dad up until today, he's had his business, this gas station business since 1995, and just now he finally got a manager. I mean, 1995 up until now, how many years is that? 29, 28 years, right? Just now he finally got a manager. He still goes in, right? Which I want him to because I want him to be active, his mind's still going. He's 76, 78 years old. I don't know how much longer of his life is, but what I'm trying to say is it keeps him active. So when you're working in the business, you forget to look the bigger picture of things, okay? So now going back to my dad, I remember in 2018 and 19 when I started, I had the GNCs, I had two of them, 2 franchise locations. And then from there, I had, I was helping my dad with the gas station business, thinking like, maybe that's the future for me, right? So then I'm going in there and I got some knowledge as far as like, Dad, okay, the people who are working for you that are in there working for 12, 14 hours a day, you need to get feedback from them on how to improve the business. No, I'm the owner. I know everything. I know what's best for my business, right? No, you don't. So when a lot of business owners, what they mess up is you got to take a back seat, right? So my guys, we have over 2,000 employees around the whole entire world. I don't even know half of the things that go on e-commerce. Just recently, I showed one of my partners. I'm like, look on TikTok. We did just the last 30 days. We did $1.3 million in sales. Net profit is probably like 300 to 400K net profit.
Selling what on TikTok?
Good question, because that's the question you asked, right? I was like, I don't know. He's like, how are you a CEO running this and you don't know what product you're selling? I was like, dude, we sell over 100,000 different products. That's not my department. My department is to make sure we're keep on acquiring. The flow keeps coming in. We're acquiring brands and the system keeps flowing. My back end team handles all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how many boutique hotels and stuff you have. So imagine if you have a portfolio of 200 boutique hotels. You think you're going to know everything about every single hotel? No, you have systems, process, and put in place. That's the number one key ingredient a lot of business owners don't do. They don't put the right SOPs. They don't put KPIs. They're just running with the gun.
Yeah. I mean, we use EOS as an operating system. So we have EOS is out of the book Traction with Gino Wickman, but it's a way to operate your business. And so we have a weekly L10 meeting. And everyone on my team has weekly KPIs and monthly KPIs that we track. I even have my own KPIs, but it's everything down to the reviews at each of the hotels. How many reviews did we drive? And we got a KPI for that. To the media, how many podcasts did we get out? How many videos did we split test on TikTok? How many shares did we get on TikTok this week? How many views did we get on all these different platforms? And we measure all that because at every single level of the business, you got to know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you have no way to determine what's working and what's not working. And that's really the game of business, is identifying what's working and identifying what's not working. And the things that are working, you double down on, you do more of. And the things that are not working, you either eliminate or you figure out, is this not the right person that's holding this KPI? And if it's not, then you bring someone else in. Right people, right seats is how you grow the business.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the 2 locations, what was the reason that it ultimately did not work out?
COVID was a big factor. One of my other locations was, so this is a really good lesson that I learned. One of my locations, I was 24 years old, and this is in Dublin. And so that one, the person who owned the business, okay, again, when talking about systems.
Every time you say Dublin, I think Dublin, Ireland.
I know,
But
everybody
I
thinks
didn't
that.
even realize there's a Dublin in Northern California.
Yeah. So when you have a business, okay, we have a lot of overseas operations. We're in Philippines, Australia, New Zealand, all these other countries, Canada, we're London, all these other countries, right? And we're doing e-commerce, SaaS businesses, government contracts, all this kind of stuff. Okay. So you have to have systems and process put in place, and the right people is the biggest key, like you said. Okay. So these guys, they were in New York. One owns a shoe shop, one's own a perfume shop or something. In between is a GNC shop. New York, California. Totally different demographics, the customer base and everything. Okay. Older dudes. They think businesses, you open up the door, the customer comes in. That's not how business works. Okay. So they're the ones that have always been working in the business, never worked on the business. So what their idea is, look, New York is too cold. We want to move to California. So they get this location. They run it for 2 years. Their most amount of revenue they done was, I think, about 275 was when I acquired it. $275,000.
In a year?
And yeah, total
Okay.
sales in a year. Okay. So that's when I came in. I'm like telling my dad, I was like, I want to get on a location, XYZ. Okay. And this just so tied down to another story, talking about speed, talking about thinking big. Okay. So I get that location. From that time when we bought it, it was $275,000 in revenue. We literally just, whatever I knew from my first location, applied it, brought on the spot as we're acquiring it. The older business owners, literally, I still remember till today, the doors are wide open. There's a double door store. My team, I come in from the location. Okay, guys, the layout of the store doesn't make sense. We got to fix the layout. We got to do this. It needs to be more open environment. This flow needs to be here. The bars need to be here. The protein shakes need to be yada, yada, yada. Right down the spot, I just gave them the check. Right down the spot, I went in. I moved some stuff around. They come in literally an hour. They're like, holy shit, what the hell did you do to the store? I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, this looks completely different. I'm like, that's because I know my shit. Okay. The other thing is,
What is it about the layout of the store that it really optimizes it?
people want to come in. So when you're going to a health store, right, you want to feel welcomed. You want to feel open. The other thing is too, where the register's at, you want to be able to look everywhere. So imagine the registers. Okay, imagine your desk is right here, and there's a big pillar right here, and you can't see there, and there's some big spot right here. How would you feel? Imagine you going into a hotel, and you have a desk of check-ins, but the check-in desk, as soon as you open the door, a customer walks in, I can't even see your clinic.
It's obstructed view.
Yeah, your receptionist in there. Think about it.
Yeah.
Everything's a flow. Same thing with business. Same thing when we walk in through that door, the way you guys welcomed us, that's customer service. That's a flow. That's what you stand for. And a lot of business owners, they're screwing up on that thing. I have this one friend of mine, he owns a water store. Okay. You walk into the water store.
What's a water store?
So water stores, like, those, I love this, but it's a cash cow.
Okay.
You know the refill water stations?
Yeah.
Like 5 gallons and everything?
We have a third party that we use here.
Yeah. Dude, it's a cash cow. So
Like Sparklets is one of them, right?
yeah.
They've been around for decades.
So basically, you go into his store, AC's off, the floors are old and dirty. He's owned it for 20 years, right? So what I like to do is, every single time I acquire business, do business with everybody, it's if I was a customer, even my own business too. If I was a customer, right? How am I getting treated? What are some of the things? A lot of like your guys' business. The reason why I like it and I hate it is well too is hospitality is one of the hardest things to do.
It's very hands-on. This is not passive real estate.
No, it's okay. Thank you for saying that. A lot of people, they say real estate, passive income. No, it's the hardest thing to freaking do. Airbnb, hard business to do.
There's no real estate that's passive. The only thing passive about real estate is if you are investing passively
if you're
with
a
another
silent investor,
operator.
and you're investing with
as a limited
Rich or
partner.
somebody like that.
Yes.
Exactly.
You wire in the check, cool. Everything else is passive from there. But outside of being a passive investor, nothing about the real estate game is passive. And people listening to this might say, oh, well, what if I hire a property manager? It's like, yeah, you have a property manager, but guess what? You have to manage the property manager. It's asset management, all the day to day. You have to manage the property manager, KPIs. Are they hitting their metrics? You're reviewing the P&Ls, all the high level stuff you still have to do. And guess what? If you don't, it's going to be very hard to have a performing asset.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that, and yeah. So when it comes to a lot of business owners, you have to review how your staff is doing a lot of things too. You know, because when the boss is there, what happens? Everyone's performing perfectly fine, right? The other thing, what I notice with a lot of business owners is leadership. Okay, this is the trajectory that has really changed in my business. When I was at the GNC business, okay, till today, Rich, I've never looked at a resume. Everybody that's hired for me, I never looked at a resume. Reason being, because Rich come with me, he can be like, XYZ, yada, yada. You know, I have this portfolio, I have these many hotels, XYZ, I can do the yada, yada, yada. These are the skills. Paper, everything looks pretty, right? But I want to know Rich himself. Rich needs to know me. So before, like, let's just say off camera, we talked about some of the things, boutique hotel, I have investors, yada, 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 right? So before I do that, I want to make sure that Rich knows me personally, how I am, what are my standards, how I am with my friends and my families, all that basic stuff before I go into partnership with Rich. Does that make sense? And I need to know Rich. How does he perform with his people? How does he treat them? How does he treat his business partners? What other business partners does he have? What are the things he's saying on social media? All these kind of things matter, because the business, it'll be perfectly fine, but it's small external or internal things that mess up partnerships. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So going back to the resume thing, I've never looked at a resume. I always went as like this. As long as you come through the door and you have that energy and the vibe that I feel, I can teach you how to sell shit in the back.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah. Most partnerships don't work out.
They don't
Most
unless
don't
you
work
know
out.
how to structure them. So I have a lot of all my businesses are through partnerships. It's all never ever do a 50-50 deal. I've in GNC business, I had a 50-50 deal and it didn't work out at all.
For me, it comes down to three things. And I had two partners that I was when I first got in the real estate game. We had Pack 3 Capital. We were buying apartments together. We still own a couple deals together with investors. And I'm friends with these guys today. Like, there's no hard feelings at all. But I reached a point in 2022 where I had to have a tough conversation. And what I realized was I was not going to reach my true potential under this partnership. And I'll tell you where I went wrong. So for me, choosing partners, it comes down to three things. Number one, are they a good human being? That's first and foremost. Go out to dinner with these folks, go out to lunch, see how they treat servers, strangers on the street when you're walking by, because how they treat and talk to servers is how they're going to treat vendors, investors, etc. when you're partnered with them. And they're going to be a direct reflection of your brand. So if that's not good, it's a hard no. Number two is, do they have a complementary skill set? So if you're listening to this and you're like, hey, I'm good at raising capital, I'm good at sourcing deals, I'm good with people, I'm charismatic, you're probably not good at the back end stuff, which is like the numbers, underwriting deals, all the asset management, all the stuff that's equally important, but on the back end. And so you shouldn't go partner with someone that's also good at raising capital and sourcing deals. Partner with someone that complements your skill set and is good at the things you're not good at. That's number two. Number three, and this is an important one, this is where I went wrong, is make sure you partner with someone that has a similar level of risk tolerance. And what do I mean by that? When I say risk tolerance, this is what I mean. In business, in real estate, regardless of what type of business you're in, there's dozens, sometimes hundreds of decisions that pop up every single week. And you have to have the wherewithal and the confidence to navigate those decisions and make a quick decision and roll and know, hey, you know what? I'm not going to get all the decisions right. My team's not going to get all the decisions right, but we're going to get most of them right based on the information that we know. And as new information pops up, we might pivot or we might reach another road bump. And if we do reach a road bump, knowing that you have the confidence and the wherewithal to have and find the resources in order to push through and solve that constraint. And that's why I say similar level of risk tolerance is very important. So where I didn't go right is we had a different level of risk tolerance. And so they didn't feel comfortable making any decisions without all the answers. And in the game of real estate and business, like, you have to be okay making some moves without all the decisions. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to operate. And so every decision was a 4-hour grueling meeting, right? And it's like, dude, you can't grow that way. You cannot grow in business if every decision takes 4 hours. And so now with my team, like, I empower them to make quick decisions. I'm like, guys, I don't care if it's the wrong decision. Let's just make the decision based on the information we have and let's keep this thing rolling. And that's how you grow over, the ability to make quick decisions over a week, compounds over months, over years. And that's the difference between someone really growing quickly and someone kind of just staying stagnant.
Yeah. No, you pretty much just hit it on the nail. When it comes to making decisions, that's one of the biggest thing of key success. I think that's happened with us, and why a lot of people, they come to me for answers. So there's two parts to this. One is making decisions and how fast you're able to execute them. So the frame that work that I've taught my team. So the other thing is too, you have a successful business when somebody comes to you, right? And they're like, hey boss, or hey homie, this is what happened and this is how we're going to solve it. What do you think? Right? That's a good leadership team. Now you have an army. But when you come up, dude, this is what happened. What do we do? I'm freaking the hell out. Yada, yada, yada. And then you're over here like, dude, I got like 50 other things I got to freaking do. And now I got to put this on my plate too and burn this fire. You don't have a real business. Now you're working in the business, not on the business. So then what the biggest thing what CEOs need to do is sit down with their team and let them know exactly the game of how to make right decisions in your organization. What are some of the things we're looking for, right? So I have a lot of people in my group, like 10 dudes, right?
6'10" dudes?
No, 6 or 7, 8, 9 dudes, right?
Okay.
They're always traveling with me. They're usually here at the podcast but we're doing a conference in Miami, so they're handling all that, right? So basically, they never come up to me with a problem, unless it's one of those things that I need to step in, right? Which is usually their internal things like, oh, this is what happened to me and my family. I need help with this, yada, 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 yada. Like, how do you navigate with this? Or I had a client say this, like, what do you think? But it's more of like a coaching thing, right? The framework that I've built is give me a problem, one problem. For that problem, write it down. Give me 3 solutions, write it down on paper, and find the best solution.
The 1-3-1 method.
Yeah, 1-3-1 method. After that, what you do is you debate with everybody. Okay? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Yada, yada. And that's how you get answers. And that's how I run my business too. I don't make any decisions. I come over here, I have an idea. So one of my camera guys comes up to me, he goes, Paul comes to me, he goes, Ami, my wife, their family, they own a lot of agave plants in Mexico. Okay? Jalisco or something like that. And he goes, have you ever thought about getting into tequila? I've actually thought about it, right? And I was like, well, how does the process work? And then he goes, I can get you the information. I was like, you have 2 days to give me the information. Now, my team is programmed to the point where if I say 7 days, they know I'm testing them, and that shit needs to be done in 2 to 3 days. Because that's the standards. The other thing is a lot of business owners, they don't have standards. So what I have, if you want to work with me, partner with me, I'll give you a page, and I'm like, okay, before we get into this, Rich, here are my 10 standards that I have for business. Number 1, we respect each other. Number 2, any conversation that happens is between you and I before it goes to anybody else. If there's multiple partners, we're going to sit down and do that stuff in person. Not phone calls, no Zoom calls. That shit can be fabricated. The reason why it be fabricated is you have time to think over text, phone call, and Zoom call. I need to know what the hell Rich is wearing, how is he acting, because I can look at you and facial reaction, the way you're moving your hands, your feet, and all kinds of stuff. Know if you're nervous, you're okay. Another biggest thing I've learned over the years is how to read people. And that's a big key ingredient when it comes to business.
Give me an example of that.
Okay. I remember one time, I was sitting down, I was having a coaching call with this guy. 2 guys, they're in the real estate business. They're like, dude, our cash, they're just asking me questions, right? And I'm looking at him, right? And the guy's like this. He's just like, so like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? He's asking me questions. I'm like, hold on, dude. Okay. I'm looking at both of you guys. This guy's over here playing with his hair every single time I ask him questions, which is giving me anxiety. He's nervous and anxiety to ask me something, right? Or something's going on. This guy over here is just doing this, looking around. You're not really paying attention to anything I'm saying. So let's pause this. What's going on in your business? What's the real issue? And then, yeah. I was like, no. You're continuing to do that. Now you're doing your foot. You're doing this. You're shaking your foot. You're barely talking.
What does that mean? Because I see people do that all the time. What does that mean when they shake their foot?
They're not confident in the decision that they're giving or the information that they're giving.
Could it mean that they're just intimidated in that very moment?
It could be. Okay. Again, it goes back to confidence. They're not confident, right? The other thing is what I've noticed is when they're doing something like that, when you talk about, hey, so yeah, man, my business over here is going there, and we're gonna do 30 million. They're talking so fast, they don't want to get caught. So okay, calm down, bro. What's going on? Just tell me the truth. Right? It's okay if you're not doing 30 million, you're doing 5 million in revenue. It's okay. Just be who you are, right? So we're having a conversation. He says, okay, bro, here's the thing. We have these 3 or 4 properties. We're not cash flowing. We're trying to get our silent investor to XYZ. And now I was like, okay, what are some of the options you have? We can sell one of this property to get cash flow to come in to and do X, Y, Z. And then, or we can do this, we can do this, this, this. I'm like, okay, you have a pen and paper? They're like, no. I called the waiter, we're having lunch. So I called the waiter, I was like, can I get a pen and paper, please? I was like, map every single option down. And then at the end, give me your revenue, EBITDA, expenses for every single one. Because right now it's a cash flow issue. So we have to look at the metrics, right? Then they come with yada, yada, yada. And then I was like, boom. Now, out of this, which is the best case scenario you would choose? Like this one, it makes sense. I'm like, then why the fuck didn't you just do that in the first place? The answer's there. You're just not confident. You wanted to hear it from somebody else. But if you're sitting next to me, why are you doing all this, trying to be like, oh, you're the professional, whatever it is? And that's the other thing, too. Going back to my next thing that I talked about yesterday's podcast is a lot of CEOs, they want to be like, I know it all. Dude, me. Our portfolio is 300 million, 400, 500 million, 2,000 employees, 900 investors. We're in multiple countries, right? Even till today, I'm still learning. Like I would take a pen and paper and be like, Rich, boutique hotels, tell me everything. Hospitality, I want to know. What was the first thing behind cameras I told you? I say, hey, bro, you have a media company. I want to start a podcast company. Is it okay if I fly in my team and I'll pay you whatever it is? Teach them everything.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you freaking grow.
Mm-hmm.
Although I might do doing X, Y, Z.
It's accessing information. And regardless of all the hoopla out there and the bad news in the marketplace, I tell people all the time, I'm like, guys, regardless of all that bullshit out there, this is the best time ever in the history of Earth to be alive, because the ability to access information today has never been easier with YouTube, podcasts, ChatGPT. You can learn more listening to a podcast today than you can going to a 4-year university. That's just the facts. And so the ability to access information today has never been easier. This is the best time ever to be alive.
Yeah. So that, a lot of people, they're scared to ask questions. The biggest thing is what I think, too.
Always be curious.
Yeah, always be curious. And then,
And never be the smartest in the room. Like I always ask questions. I'm like, that's all I do. Hey, how do you run your business? I always pick up a couple nuggets from like every one of my podcast guests about how they operate their business. And I'm like, that's a really good one. And then I'm going to implement that into mine.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm asking questions.
Yeah. I mean, we did an event in Cabo last year in August. We had about 400 business owners in there, right? We're talking about business and all that kind of stuff. The first thing I said, I was like, look, guys, I don't know it all, right? I'm just going to tell you guys what I know if you guys ask me a question. I'm really good at Q&A type of things. If you give me a problem, I'll give you guys the solution that I think is going to be the best, or open up your mind to think further, right? So in Cabo, I remember I was on stage and I'm talking or something, and somebody was doing some quantum funding or something like that, and they said yada yada yada, and I'm like, wait, what? So right in front of everybody, 300-400 people, I'm getting deeper and deeper into the conversation. I'm like, wait a second. I was like, hey, Miguel, can you write this down? That's really good. We can use this for our business in front of everybody. And right there, I gave an example to everybody. Like, yeah, guys, I'm over here. You guys are at my event, right? But I'm still learning from you guys. And that's the biggest key. So a lot of in the indie community, they don't want to be told what to do. And I think it stems to a lot of people that don't not to be told what to do. But we're a student of life, right? We're always learning. You have to be learned. Like you said, information. The only difference between going from here to here, and this is you. This is what I like to say. This is you. This is your goal. This distance right here it's a timeline, and how fast you can shrink it is up to you. But that's just information that you're missing.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
So we started a business last year. It's a funding business. Okay. We help our
credit
clients,
card funding, 0% business credit, all that.
bonds, you name it, everything, right? Everything. So we help our clients get funding. They can invest with us. They can start their own business. And then we started another company. It's Kamboj Advisory. We do tax, bookkeeping, CPA, all this other forecasting, all this other crazy shit, right? So I saw a big pitfall in the accounting business. So we started our own accounting business, because I was like, dude, if I'm dealing with that issue, and I'm paying shit ton of taxes, I'm pretty sure other people needed some advice too. So we started our own company. So that company propelled this other ecosystem that we created. That funding company alone, in 120 days, we did $20 million in revenue, right? Tapping into just our network that we have. And in this 121 days, we were just testing to see how it was. It was like barely like 56 clients, right? So what happened was my sales guys, they went to their guys, their clients, and they said, this is what we can do, yada, yada, yada. Sales went up, operations stayed down here. Sales goes to operate. A lot of business owners, that this happens to a lot of businesses, is when you're able to get so much funds, but you don't know how to fulfill it, right? Or you're running a business where it's like 20, 30 million in revenue, but then your back end team's slacking. So how do you pivot that? What are some of the metrics you own? It's supposed to be like this: operations and sales. It always needs to stay like this. You always want to overfulfill, then you oversell.
Hey guys, if you're looking to get into real estate investing, but you're like, hey, I don't have the time, but you want to participate in the passive income, the tax benefits, and the wealth building, my company, Summers Capital, partners with limited partners, people like yourself, and we go out and buy boutique hotels. We have a fund where we currently own 5 hotels, and we currently have a wait list for investors to participate with us. If you want to learn more to see if this is a fit for you, you can go to summerscapital.com/invest to inquire and get on our wait list and be notified next time we have an opportunity. Again, summerscapital.com/invest. Now back to the show. I got a question for you.
Yes.
So a lot of this game of business, and I think when you're looking at all these different constraints within the business, if you're working on the wrong one, it's equal to not working at all. I believe that. And so it's having the ability to identify the biggest constraint and then putting all your energy and resources into solving that biggest constraint to break through the other side. Then you break through, then there's another constraint that's between you and the next level. And it's identifying out of the 20 possible constraints, which one is the biggest one we need to solve for. So what is the best way to approach finding and identifying the biggest key constraint that you should be going all in on versus working on the wrong one?
Okay. So when you're in the business, obviously you as a CEO, your thing is vision, mission, grow company, create leaders. Okay. But then in your leadership KPIs, they need to put KPIs as far, you need to know, they need to know the information of what are the bottlenecks are, right? And then you as a team collectively are navigating through the bottlenecks. And then you calculate it based off of revenue. How much is this really costing us? Because there might be something where basically is costing you in a month, let's just say $1,000. But there's some bottleneck over here that's costing you hundreds and thousands of dollars. Which one are you going to solve?
Hundreds of thousands.
First,
Yep.
And then slowly go down the chain.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
So that's the thing. Well, majority of the problems that you can solve is either you hire somebody or you add some type of infrastructure in there. Infrastructure meaning a SaaS, an AI or something in there, some type of integration. There's not too many big things that you need to be done when a bottleneck, something like that happens, realistically. The other issue that I see is when you have, so a lot of business owners, what I notice is, this is a big red flag. If anybody can learn something from this is, if you have a customer and he is controlling 42 to 45% of your revenue,
Yeah.
he's controlling your whole business.
You have key man risk.
That's it,
Yeah.
right? And I cannot tell you, Rich, how many business owners, they're happy with that. I'm telling you 42%. I've helped people with people that have a contract, which is 80% of the revenue from one client, right? Okay, when it comes to e-commerce.
That one client leaves and there goes your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me give you another example. When Apple shifted their manufacturer from China back in 2017, I think it was, they moved some of their production into India, right? We were in the e-commerce space in 2019, 2018, 2019. So I'm looking at this, I'm like 2018, 2019, they move a lot to India. Why are they doing that? All these years, they've built their manufacturing stuff in China. What's going on? Right? I was like, okay, there's a bigger play that they know that we don't know. Okay, so I call my team. I call my team in Pakistan. I was like, hey, there's something gonna go happen. I don't know what it is. Okay, my lesson is this: whenever you get a supplier, if you're working from overseas or over here too, you don't want to work with one supplier. You gotta have multiple vendors just in case. You have one main vendor, you give them majority of the business, 60%. Then you divide the rest 40% in the other businesses. Does that make sense? So let's just say if I'm a marketing agency and I give you the contract, you're a great guy, you're fulfilling and everything. I'm not gonna give you the 100% of the contract. I'll give you 60%, 55%, 60%, between 50 to 60%, I'll give you that. Then the rest of it, I'm gonna have multiple people. God forbid, if something happens to you, your business dies, you go bankrupt or something like that, my marketing's done. Same thing over there. Overseas, they're making a, let's just say, iPhone case. And the majority, 60% of my business is there. And then I pivoted into India, Malaysia, Vietnamese, Vietnam and Mexico, right? But then COVID happens or the tariffs happen.
It's the same thing with marketing.
Easy
Like,
switch
if your business is reliant on social media to get leads, which is nothing wrong with that. If you're all in on one platform, because I do see a lot of people that are like all in on Instagram and they're not on any other platforms. I'm like, yo, if something happens to Meta, like you're fucked, you know? And so that's why I think it's important. If a lot of your leads come through social, you need to be on all the different platforms. We had our TikTok get banned on Friday. And I'm like, well, luckily we're on, you know, all these other platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, YouTube, and we have the podcast. So it's like, okay, if TikTok's gone, and we don't get a lot of like leads from TikTok, but because we're spread across the different platforms, we don't have that key platform risk. The other mistake that I think I see other business owners make is this, is they're too quick to pivot. It's like, hey, this is the direction we're gonna go. Like, give that direction like a good 4 weeks to like play itself through. Don't just like be like, hey, like 4 days in, like it's not working. Let's make another pivot and then make another pivot. Because the truth is when you make a pivot, like you're going to automatically have a setback. Like every big change that you make in business, like you're going to have a setback for a week or two. Like you're just automatically going to have a setback. It's going to be, there's going to be some like human error of making the pivot. Someone's going to drop the ball somewhere. Whenever you do something new, there's going to be some sort of setback. Even if you replace a team member, there's a setback. Even if you replace a team member with someone with more talent, there's still a short-term setback before you see growth. And so I think too many pivots is one. The other thing is this, too many meetings. I'm like, bro, like too many freaking meetings. It's like meeting for this, meeting for that. I'm very big on like, guys, this is how I run it. I have a level 10 meeting every single week. And we can run the entire week's worth of business conducted through that 45-minute meeting. And I have some one-on-ones, but I tell my team, I'm like, guys, if I don't have an agenda before the one-on-one, we do one-on-one with my key leadership team once a week. And if I don't have an agenda from them of what they need from me to get through the entire week, before the meeting starts, I won't do the meeting. And so with the agenda, it's a way to rip through these meetings in 5 minutes, very efficient, very effective. And that's it. And that's everything they need from me for the entire week. And if there's no agenda, I won't do it. And so for me, I'm like very low on the meetings, but very efficient meetings. And I see too many entrepreneurs, business owners where they got meetings every single day of the week. I'm like, dude, how you gonna get work done if you're just doing meetings? Like when you're in a meeting, you're not productive.
Yeah.
So it's like do more work and less meetings.
Yeah. Realistically, you only need a meeting maybe once a month. Realistically, with the whole team. And then like when our organization, I have I think 10 assistants that literally run my whole thing, emails, phone number, everything, right? And then they give me the report. I just look at once a week, right? And then from there, it comes to the point where I have leadership state. They report to me, whatever it is, whatever I need to ask. Other than that, it's a well-oiled machine. It's just moving and grooving, and then we just have to pivot whenever we need to.
Moving and grooving. I love that.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, what happens is
That's like a Miami thing, moving and grooving.
So, okay. So when I remember one time traveling from Vegas, we're going back home with one of our friends. Okay.
Okay.
He's like this all over his phone. Too many emails. This conference. Too many emails. I got another meeting. This, that. And I looked at him. I'm like, bro, is it cool if can I see your email real quick? Right. He goes, yeah, go ahead. I'm looking at it. I'm like, dude, do you really have to be in all these emails? He goes, but then how do I know how my business is going? I'm like, hire a goddamn assistant from the Philippines, give them like $500, $300 and just have them give you one PDF for the week explaining exactly what's going on with the business. Do you really have to be in this meeting which has to do with something with marketing over one product or some shit? Not really. You're the guy that should be shaking hands and making big deals, right? Making the bigger decision, thinking outside the box. That's the thing you should be doing.
Yeah.
Right? And then he's like, yeah, you're right. But then I'm just afraid if I dip out that the business is not going to work out. I'm like, that's your problem, is your business is controlling you. I was like, let me ask you this. You were on this conference, you were on the phone call 6, 7, 8, 9 times. You're on the phone trying to do emails how many times? Multiple times. Did you ever see me get on a phone call? Did you ever see me answer one email? But then he goes, how'd you train your employees? I'm like, okay, now let's talk about systems. Now, when you're acquiring a company, Rich, or you're exiting, going IPO, or you're acquiring a company, biggest thing we're looking about is if we were to replace the CEO,
Yeah.
or any department
Key man
manager,
risk.
how fast can we replace that person? So there's a business that we bought last year, and it was $75 million. It was a $75 million acquisition, right? And it was a SaaS business. So we looked at it, phenomenal. And then we looking at it, I was like, okay, I'm like, this is good. There's a leverage point over here why we should acquire this. When I talk about leverage point, what that means is this business is doing phenomenal. Why is he selling it if it's doing phenomenal? Do we really need to acquire, or can we just knock on the door and be like, hey, bud, your valuation is $75 million. Your equity will love to go, rather than buying the business, are you okay doing an equity deal instead? Let's get it for 20 to 25%. Let's throw in our infrastructure. These are the bottlenecks that we can do
And become a
improve
partner
it.
with them.
Yeah.
Because they might have some key men that you want to keep involved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let them run the business. You come in the person of a scale matter. We have connections in all these countries. We see this of taking it here. Would you like to do that? Yes or no? Right?
Yeah.
So then I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, I see this. We can do it. He doesn't understand this, that we're about to buy the business for $75 million, but he doesn't know in the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to take it to over $250 million in business. That's a good deal for me.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this and you're like, hey, what is key man risk? I think a good example of that would be like 10X Health, right? 10X Health, Gary Brecka, Grant Cardone. The 10X brand is Grant Cardone. And so if Grant stepped out of that business and Gary Brecka stepped out of the business, their numbers will probably take a big bath, right? And so that's key man risk. Cardone Capital, key man risk. Grant's okay with that, right? You take Grant out of that equation. He's like their marketing face of the company. Without Grant, it probably doesn't perform. It would take years of probably repositioning that brand to get it ready for an exit. With my company, Summers Capital, like I'm key man risk, right? We got the podcast that drives all the leads. It's like my name on everything, but I'm okay with that. I'm not building my company to sell. And not everyone is building a company to sell. I just want a long-term thing, and I want to build long-term wealth over decades and decades with us and our investors. And so for me, I don't have an exit in mind now, so I'm okay with it. But that's key man risk.
Yeah, exactly. Going back to Gary Brecka and the Grant Cardone, this is where Grant Cardone messed up. Okay, he should have always been the guy being the front face of the business. Everybody knows Grant Cardone, his personality, and all that kind of stuff. Where he messed up was he built Gary Brecka to where he was. He put the presence. Now, again, going back to the thing what I was saying, the 60%, 50% thing, Grant gave him the opportunity to do that. And then the whole thing happened when they split up, right? Publicity ascent, I don't know what it was or whatever it is, but still, Gary Brecka was nobody. Grant Cardone comes in, puts him in his infrastructure, builds Gary Brecka to where he is. Yeah, now 10X Health is known by what? Not Grant Cardone, Gary Brecka. That's where he messed up. 10X is whose brand? Grant's, right? So he should have played that strategically well. Is if it's going to be 10X Health.
Well, I'll say this though. Grant doesn't, I feel like with that brand, you still need someone that understands the science behind it. And Grant's not the guy that's going to be able to spit that out.
I agree.
You see what I'm saying?
I agree.
And Gary was the guy that could do that. Grant was never going to be, he would have to read out of a teleprompter.
Yeah, no, I agree. But the way strategic, that's what I'm saying. What is strategically what should have been done would have been a little bit different, right? So me and my partners, we're creating a health business too. Not similar to 10X, a little bit different. We're curing cancer cells, autistic kids, dementia, and all this kind of stuff holistically, naturally, right? And it's crazy stuff. So Gary Brecka looks at genomic testing. I think it's like 76%, like 76. We look at
what testing? The gene test?
Yeah, the gene test.
Yeah,
he only looks at about 40,
my girlfriend
50
and I took
or
that,
something
by the
like
way.
that, right?
Yeah.
So we're looking about over 800 different tests to the point where my main guys, Renji and Miguel, their sons are autistic. They've been in this program for about 2-3 months, and they're seeing a massive improve, natural stuff, right? So what I'm trying to say is, I've been in the health business, right? I'm a scalable guy. The doctors are right here, medical doctors. We're about to onboard 6,700 medical directors onto this, nurses and everybody, right? So they're over there compiling something to give to me and my team. They're the back-end fulfillment team because that's what they're good at. Then I have this one doctor, right? She's going to be working with me trying to build the brand together. But at the front of the face, it's always going to be me, my company, and all that kind of stuff. Reason being because what happens is the doctors get very analytical. They're saying some shit that you and I won't even understand. When you want to sell somebody, especially to a CEO, you have to talk to them like a 5-year-old child.
What do you mean by that? Give me an example.
Okay. So when you're doing sales, when you get too complicated.
Oh, yeah. Confused mind is an act.
Yeah, exactly. Like, for an example, right now, you and I, you're in the acquisition game. I'm in the acquisition. We're talking about mergers and acquisition, MMAs, all the numbers and everything. We don't understand it. Another person, your camera guy right here, he comes in, he have no idea. But if I tell him, hey, brother, look, me and Rich, we're about to buy a boutique hotel, okay? It's about $50 million acquisition, okay? With my other company over here, Kamboj Capital Solution, I can help you get the funding. We'll get about HELOCs and all this kind of stuff. We'll get 3-4 million. And this is your net ownership, right? From there, this is your profitability. This is what we're trying to do. That makes sense? This is how much money you got.
Easy.
Simple and easy.
Yeah.
You always want to sell somebody to a 5-year-old child. Then Then if they ask you a technical question, then you jump in. But if you start technical right off the bat, you're lost.
Oh yeah. Confused mind does not act.
Yeah. So that's where another thing with CEOs, what happens.
And real quick, on that
Yes.
note,
Yes.
this is the biggest mistake I see with content creators out there. Business owners, entrepreneurs, they know they should be building a personal brand, but they don't know where to start. The biggest mistake I see is they jump in, they start putting out content, and people don't understand what they're talking about. I'm like, bro, like you're talking like to someone that you'd be doing a business deal with, but like the average person on social media has an 8th grade reading level. You have to dumb it down. You have to water the content down. Otherwise, no one's going to understand what you're talking about. You're not impressing anyone except for yourself.
And then the piggybacking off of that is since 2018, 2025, I've never had a presentation for my business. I've never showed a presentation to anybody. If it made sense, it made sense. Like that's how sales should be
Like a pitch
done.
deck?
Yeah, we've never had a pitch deck.
Never had a
ever.
deck?
Never. I've never had a pitch deck or anything
That's
like
impressive, man.
that. Yeah, dude. It's just you just have a conversation. This is how it works, bro. Yada yada. The other thing is too, when it comes to sales, is as a business owner, you need to start understanding this. Is you're taking your mind, your eyes, and you're putting it to the person that's in front of you and making it realize to them. So right now we're talking. How many times did I give you an example of your boutique hotel?
A handful of times.
Right, but then it made sense.
Yes.
Right, but then over here, the guy's life insurance, and I give an example about life insurance, but I got my point across.
Yeah.
But you understood it. That's the point.
Mm.
That's sales. That's business. That's how it should be. So I taught all my guys in the room. We do case studies. I don't know if you do case studies or not. I love case studies.
Oh, I love case studies. When I host webinars, I always run through a couple case studies because like a live example, people love to see like live examples and yeah, I love case studies.
Yeah. So like our domination conference that we're having in August at the Fountain 7th, 8th, and 9th, the whole book is about CEOs. How do you make, you're the CEO, how do you make myself into more CEOs so it helps you run your company? You're the entrepreneur, you need entrepreneurs, right? From there, they run your organization. That second part of it is like the financial stuff, right? Of how to look at numbers in a different way, how to negotiate deals, partnerships, and all kind of stuff, right? From there, we have different case studies in there, 5 or 6 different case studies, right? And then from there, it comes to sales, marketing, a couple of different other things that nobody really talks about. Everything's case study based. So the best part in the day that we do this daily, and my team is case study time. They love that shit. And I just throw random shit at them all the damn time. Well, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to open their minds, right? Is they're working with me, but I'm trying to open their minds to look at business in a different way as well, too. So when they're walking on the street, they're like, oh shit, I remember this. Look at this restaurant right here. They can improve this, and this. They're giving the person the feedback and all that kind of stuff. That is, to me, success. I'm making more leaders. I'm making more entrepreneurs. They're going out there. They come to Rich and they're like, hey, Rich, have you thought about XYZ? This is what I noticed. This is what I noticed. That's what I noticed. That's when you know you've made more leaders as a business owner.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
And then from there, like I've had a couple people come up to me. They say, hey, you share your information. 98% of the information that you have in your company is shared in your company, like to everybody. I'm like, why is that a bad thing? Right? Well, they can pick up and leave, create their own company. Go ahead. I want you to.
Sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Another bottleneck or constraint that I see with a lot of business owners is this, and I would love to get your thoughts on it, is the sales component. I feel like if you have the entrepreneur who is great at sales, they have a sales background, they're great at sales, and the product is a higher ticket, higher leverage type of product. I'm not talking about low ticket items that are, 5, 10, 15 to a couple $100. I mean, higher ticket items that is higher leverage and the entrepreneur is great at sales. I feel like when they delegate out the sales, there's always a drop off in the close rate and the revenue and all that sort of stuff. And so how do you overcome that phase of growth?
Okay. So that's going to happen to a lot of people, especially if you're doing the high ticket sales. High ticket sales are harder, right? But you're doing less few. You're not playing the volume game. It's more of a quality game, right? So our stuff, we're doing anywhere, our average ticket price is 200 and above, just like you, right? So what you do is let's just say when you transition from this salesperson into a CEO, when you have 2 or 3 people, when you're training them, what I do is when they're on a call, right? Put it on speaker. There's a pen and paper. I'm not talking. You're doing the call. If we lose a deal, it's okay. This is a learning phase, right? And I'm there. I had 2 pens, a red one and a blue one. Red one is this is where you messed up on. It's a no. Blue one is say this, say that. You're training them. But if you're doing this, what a lot of business owners do is, fuck, I'm gonna miss this damn deal. It's $200. $200,000 deal. I grab the phone real quick. Let me close it. How the hell is he going to learn? Does that make sense?
Totally.
Right? So that's the biggest thing a lot of CEOs, they don't do, is they want to be on every single sales call. I haven't been on a sales call for 3-4 years. Every single time somebody hits me on the DM, my family, friends wants to invest. They want to do X, Y, Z, yada, yada, yada. Here's Dodge's number. Talk to him. Here's Miguel's number. Here's Sar's number. Here's this guy's number. Talk to them. Right? They need to make the commission. They need to learn. They need to grow. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Now let me ask you this though. So, obviously having like a really good killer on the sales side, that can be plug and play, step into the business is a game changer. But here's the caveat: until you've proven that other people can come in and sell and make commission, you're not going to go attract that killer on the sales side. So how do you get to the point where you can go attract that killer?
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So we're
because in your first example, if you're sitting there with a pen and paper with red and blue or whatever, and you're like holding their hand, that's not the sales killer that's going to be plug and play. So if you're looking for that plug and play sales killer, how do you attract them?
Well, the number one thing is the person who's a sales killer guy is never going to be out of a job. Okay. If anybody's going to join a company, it's always the mission that you're trying to do and what value you're trying to bring to the world. That's it. So whenever we have people joining, I got people from Berkshire Hathaway. I got people from other trust companies who've made $300,000-$400,000, quit going cold turkey just to join with us, just because the mission that we're on, right? So what happens is there's a point in life, and this happens to everybody, where money goes to the side, and it's just the mission, the value. They want to grow something big together. Look at all these riots that are happening all the time. You think they give a shit about half the riots that are out there? No, they don't give a shit about them. They just want to be part of something. As humans, we want to be part of something. That's all it is. We want to be part of something bigger. Let me ask you this, Rich. When you die, the money ain't going to go anywhere. It's just what legacy are you trying to leave, right? So if you give people an opportunity to create a bigger legacy than money, right, and change their families, their trajectory and all that jazz, you have a really good business that's going to last forever. And then from there, so what I do is, when you're working with me, I ask you, the first question I'm going to ask you is, Rich, what's your 5-year plan, right? Some people do know, some people don't know. All I'm trying to know is this guy determined, disciplined, and know exactly where he wants? That's the most dangerous man you're ever going to meet in life, is the one who's disciplined, determined, and knows exactly what he wants, right? Not the one just trying to figure that shit out.
And a focused man.
Exactly. That's all focused, right? So when somebody doesn't know the 5-year plan, you sit down, you create the 5-year plan of where's your life want to be, yada, yada. And then you reverse engineer that thing by the year, by the quarter, by the month, right? Then the second thing is you talk about the personal, professional, financial goals. What's your personal goal this year? What's your professional, financial goal? Now, if you're trying to be a damn doctor and I have to do nothing with doctors or anything like that, there's no point of you working with me for a year or two. You're wasting my time, right? Once that happens, you have that conversation, then I'm like, okay, dude, before you work with me, I will promise you this, is you give me 100%, I'll give you 200%. I'll help you get the car you want. I'll help you get the house you want. I'll give you want to be in the marketing game, you can work in the marketing. I'll send you the conferences and everything. But our organization is very fast, very rough. There will be times where I call you at 2 a.m. I'm up at 2, 4 a.m. every day, almost. And I sleep very late too, 9, right? I'm always just grinding, growing, and that's how you grow.
Hustling, man, yeah.
So there's a sacrifice. You have to tell them. Yeah, you have to tell them there's a lifestyle where you're private, you're flying with our jets and all that jazz. But there's a lifestyle where there's a lot of sacrifice involved too. Nobody talks about the sacrifice. They always talk about the silver bullet, the silver shining diamond. But how do you get there? You have to tell them that too. And that right there, if you have 100 people right there, it eliminates the 10 people. Because why? They want to go for the mission that you're trying to. We're trying to do this. We're trying to do this. We're trying to do this, right? And then when you say it with full conviction, confident as a CEO, you're in.
That's so good. I love it.
And then that's how you sell your partnerships, your vendors, your customers, and everything. And if the mission is literally like this, what I'm trying to say is, if it's consistent, you're not telling a customer something else. I'm not telling you something else. I'm not telling my employee something else. I'm not telling my somebody else over there, right? Right? That's when it doesn't work. But if you say it consistently and everybody knows, so at our Miami event, the 2,000 people are going to be there. They're going to be our investors, partnerships, other people too. They exactly know what we stand for, what we're trying to do, and that's why they support us. You can ask anybody, what's Kamboj, what's Amrinder's mission? When he wants to die, what does he want to do? He wants to do yada, 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 yada. Great. What his Kamboj Ventures company, why did he start the company? What's the ecosystem looking like? And why is that little circle, the diaphragm that he's created that everybody knows, why is it so strong? Why is it still growing? Why are there 900 investors in this company? And because yada, 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 yada. Your company should be the point. You can come to my office. My janitor, she can sell you the package.
That's an impressive janitor.
That's how good your organization should be. My son, he's 5 years old, bro. He knows exactly what daddy's doing. He knows how to sell it, the mission, what we're trying to do, XYZ. Your parents, your dog, your cleaner, your neighbor, everybody should know. What I'm trying to say is promote, 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 promote. And it gets to the point where it's just a muscle in your head and everybody, you just attract that work.
You got to shove it down their throats, man, and keep promoting. Ami, I appreciate you coming on, dropping so much game, so much knowledge. Where can the folks get in touch with you, and where can they learn more about potentially working with you as well, one-on-one?
Yeah, you can just go to on Instagram, just hit me up, DM. I manage it. My team manages it. Somebody will reach out to you. It's Amrinder, Amrinder, X Pro, the letter X, Pro. Follow me on Instagram. We're doing an event at the Domination Conference at the Fountain Blue, August 7th,
Vegas.
8th, and 9th.
Okay.
No, in Miami.
Okay. Oh, in Miami.
2,000 people are going to be there. Okay, now this event is a little bit different. You can't just buy a ticket. You have to qualify. What I'm saying qualify is you got to have a minimum of $3 million in revenue. You got to have at least 3 to 4 employees, and there's some industries that are not allowed. Okay, what I'm trying to say is a crypto guy who's just creating crypto is making multiple millions, but doesn't have a team, doesn't have employees, and just trading on a daily basis. I can't have the same conversation that me and Rich can have of running a team.
This game is all about being in the right rooms.
Exactly. So so before you buy a ticket, we'll tell you that. Number 2, there's a beautiful CEO ticket where you have basically a lounge, you have a butler and everything. We're taking you off site for 2 days. In the morning from 8 to 9, we're having a breakfast session, CEO session, where we do a lot of case study. We're talking about a lot of in-depth stuff in there.
Who's the keynote speaker?
There's, okay, thanks for asking. Is Ed Milet's coming. Bajors is coming.
Let's go.
Right? So this is going to be a little bit different. They usually talk about mentorship. They talk about motivation. But I have a series of questions as a CEO that I want to ask. Then I have Barbara from the Shark Tank, and I have Kevin coming from the Shark Tank too.
Oh, let's go.
Now
Kevin O'Leary.
This 1 hour segment, what they do is they usually just interview. I'm giving you guys an opportunity
for
for 1 hour.
Damon, the shark on the wall right here.
Yeah. So I have 1 hour. I'm giving you guys a section where you guys can ask the sharks any question, but it has to be pertaining towards if you were actually in the tank. I have a real estate company. I have a portfolio of boutique hotels. Let's just say 50 hotels. My revenue is $150 million, right? This is my team, XYZ. How do I pitch it to the sharks? What is the correct valuation, and how much liquid dilution should I give? You get to ask me, Barbara, and Kevin, right? Nobody's doing that. So you're getting a chance to ask the sharks real shark questions.
That's big, man.
Yeah.
Where can the folks get a ticket?
Go to xpro.com. X, the letter X, pro.com. Get the ticket. Half the tickets are already sold out. It's going to be a different event, right?
I love it, my man. He's Amrinder Kamboj, always dressed and fly. By the way, love that suit, my man. I'm Rich Sherman's listeners. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.